So I think Ron Millender is an excellent choice for the Greenwood Man of the Year award. What I know about Ron is he's a man of integrity. Ron is data-driven. He's a man that cares about Greenwood. He cares about the people that live here. When you think about what does it take to make a difference maker, Ron has those qualities. Ron is a difference maker for this community. I've known Ron primarily through his work with the Greenwood Self-Regional Hospital Board, as well as through his work at the Greenwood Promise. And in both of these areas, Ron has really taken the expectations and the goals, the potential future of both the hospital and Greenwood Promise and what they can do for Greenwood to another level. And I look to Ron as a mentor. He's been a big mentor to me over my first year in this role as CEO at Self Regional. And his work with the Greenwood Promise, you talk about a difference maker. I'm on the board of Greenwood Promise, and I see Ron and how he approaches the Greenwood Promise. He uses that same intensity and that same data-driven analytics, probably from his engineering background. When I think of a difference maker for Greenwood and the surrounding area, Ron Millender is that guy.
Ron, congratulations. Nobody in this town deserves this award more than you. I've watched you over the years, nearly 30 years since I've been at Greenwood. You've been a corporate leader at Lonza and formerly Capsugel. And not only have you been an outstanding corporate leader, but you've taken the skills you developed there to the community. And I can't believe how many nonprofit associations that you have led over the years. Your biggest legacy to Greenwood is the Greenwood Promise. The Greenwood Promise is a nationally recognized program, the only one in South Carolina, recognized as being a model around the country that enables every child that's born in Greenwood to be guaranteed 2 years of secondary education. The other thing about you is you are a huge Clemson fan. And now this is difficult for me as a Gamecock because I know your passion for Clemson, and sometimes it's hard to live with you. I've sat through many sessions as a board member of the Promise looking at your 100 slides of data. And believe me, the data tells the story. And Greenwood is so fortunate to have you as a leader in our community, and you've been a great friend over the years.
Ron and I have known each other for about 4 years now. As my position with the Greenwood Promise, the executive director of the Greenwood Promise, and he has been our board chair since inception. And I don't see that it will probably ever end. I think that at some point we will be wheeling him into board meetings because he is so ingrained in this program. He cares more about this program than I think quite possibly anybody else does about any organization in our community. He uses a lot of spreadsheets. He loves data. If you've ever been to a meeting with Ron, he probably has some sort of Excel spreadsheet that is loaded full of numbers. He wants to leave this community better than he found it, and he is doing that through the work on all the different nonprofit boards that he's involved in, but especially with the Greenwood Promise. We are extremely thankful for Ron. I adore him, and I can't imagine him not being a part of my life or the Greenwood Promise.
It all began over 40 years ago, and I was first introduced to Ron as a process engineer at Capsugel plant here in Greenwood. Ron he always told me he was the best process engineer at Capsugel, but he was the only one. So when I first met him, he was one of the most ambitious, but yet modest and gentle individuals and colleagues in the plant. His priorities in life has always been God, Brenda, family, and others, always in that order. Well, you can kind of put Clemson in there wherever you want to. Thank you Ron, for your sacrifices, your dedication, your hard work, your spirit of volunteerism and successes. Because tonight, Greenwood is truly a better community for all that you have done with us. I love you, brother. God bless.
It's a pleasure for me to say a few words on behalf of Ron Millender, who's being honored tonight. Over 6 years ago, when he was approached by business and industry leaders in Greenwood County to help solve problems of workforce development and the fact that many of our workers are driving up Highway 25 every morning to go to work, he was the perfect person to name to do that. I can tell you from my experience, I cannot think of another person who has made a larger contribution than Ron Millender to offering opportunities for young people from Greenwood County to achieve higher education. Ron Millender can and will give you many numbers that will document the success of the program, but I will give you only 5. Number 1, we presently have 263 Greenwood Promise students at Piedmont Technical College. Next year, we will have them beginning at Lander University as well. Number 2, 18 of our businesses and industries in Greenwood County already employ or have provided internships to Greenwood Promise students. Number 3, presently over 100 Greenwood Promise students are pursuing internships at these businesses. Number 4, over time, some 2,000 students have been assisted to whatever college they're going to by the Greenwood Promise staff. Number 5, and this is my favorite number, in the 6 years, every fall, the staff from Greenwood Promise and board members go out to the kindergarten classes all across the county, and they give them a medallion that says, "You can go to college." And they say to the children, when you graduate, if you want to go to college, you can go to college, and you will not graduate with an onerous amount of student debt. We promise. And so you think about that 1,500 every year. 1,500 students in kindergarten are given these medallions and promised you can go to college if you like. And if you do the math, that's about 15,000 students who will be promised that they can further their education if they graduate from a Greenwood school. So I can think of no better way to honor Ron Millender and to think about these little ones out there than for you to make a generous contribution to the Greenwood Promise to invest in the future of Greenwood County. Thank you very much.
Hey Ron, first off, man, congratulations, man. This is such a well-deserved honor, and I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, I really I'm just so happy for you. I'm happy for Brenda and the family, and I could not think of a better person that deserves such an induction into the Greenwood Hall of Fame. I also want to personally thank you because sincerely from the bottom of my heart, you've been such a great inspiration for me. You've kind of guided my path throughout my career, and on behalf of my family and me, I want to thank you. Speaking specifically about that path that you've guided, I've almost taken your exact template and mirrored my entire life after the example that you set. I come from a small community. I went to Clemson just like you. I was a mechanical engineer just like you. I worked at Capsugel just like you. I started off as a process engineer just like you. Moved into production, went global, became the GM. Pretty much my entire path was a reflection of yours, and I can't think of just a better person. You know, I've got my dad who's just so special to me, but I've been so blessed that God's placed two men of character in my life. You brought me into your office one day and you said, "Travis, it's time to give back." And I didn't really know what you meant by that. I thought you meant within my budgets or, to cut my budget and give you some more money back so you could increase yours. I didn't know what it meant, but you were really talking about leadership is about investing in people. And I think when I think of Ron Millender, that's who you are. You're all about people. You're that multiplier. And I think your induction into the Greenwood Hall of Fame is because you took that position, you grew and you flourished and you blossomed where you were planted, And I think that's what's made you so special and so deserving of this nomination and induction. So thank you so much, Ron. I hope you enjoy this evening. It's very well deserved. And go Tigers.